Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here is your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Thank you very much for tuning in today. I am pleased to bring to you this wonderful individual who has founded ways to brand ourselves and to market ourselves. And she's really interested in helping female founders to get off the ground. Her mission is to empower you and to find a way for you to bridge the gap between small business owners and your marketing needs. She's a LinkedIn expert and trainer, lead generation strategist, and a digital marketing partner. She's the perfect mix to ensure success for any startups, right? And her love for travel shines. She's traveled over 22 countries in 2 years. That's a whole lot of frequent flyer miles, y'all. And she soaks up various cultures, refining her skill set with each new experience. Her enthusiasm for digital marketing is contagious, and her power to bring out the best in each project is unparalleled. I thank you very much for coming on to the show today. I introduce to you Shannon. Shannon, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Maurice. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Thank you.
I'm honored that I get to be a part of this. So.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So as I stated in the intro, because you really would like to inspire the female entrepreneur. And
yes.
So why do you focus on the ladies, if you will?
So I've been in business for a really long time. In the past, I've worked with both men and women. Mm-hmm. But what I was finding as I was growing into my entrepreneurship was that women were still underrepresented. They were a little more timid about about marketing. They kind of have this mindset of, oh, if I build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to kind of help let them know that, no, that's not the case, that you do need to be that basically any business owner, but the main reason for women is because they're just so underrepresented. And to me, they need the most help when it comes to getting their organizations off the ground and bringing awareness about them. Relying on referrals only is not a great marketing strategy for any business. So that was my main reason. Also, I'm a firm believer in niching down. So I prefer to work with female founders, ideally that have maybe been in business for a year to 2 years, but they're still struggling and they're trying to figure out what is it that I'm missing. I want to help bridge those gaps. So, but part of the niching down process doesn't mean you can't work with whoever you want. It just means that your marketing materials are niched. They're focused on a particular set of audience ideas and descriptions. All right. We're going to focus in on those. But a lot of people are going to see your brand when you're bringing awareness to it and you're marketing to it. Even though you're marketing to that particular audience, people outside of that audience will still see you marketing. They still will likely get interest. So it doesn't mean you can't work with them. It just means your marketing is going to be structured to your particular audience. And so female founders, for me, that was the main reason.
So let me ask you this, because you're bringing up a good point about niching down. A lot of times we feel as though we're good in 3 or 4 different spaces. We understand, what it might be to market something or create and you and I talked about this off camera, right? In the green room. Maybe I do flyers, I do logos, I could do websites. I know how to help people with business plans or grant writing, whatever it might be. And so we feel as though we want to start our company off with everything that we know how to do. So how important is it really for us to niche ourselves down to 1 or 2 things?
So for a great example, I'm actually going to use myself as in this example. So I've got 15 or 18 plus years of digital marketing experience. But my primary focus is on LinkedIn, and that's because I've built a system that works. But the digital marketing piece, like when my clients come to me and they're interested in the LinkedIn, they get really, really excited to know all the other stuff that I bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I don't advertise it. I don't really bring awareness to it, although I do create content around it so that they are aware of what all the things that I do. All right. But when I am doing my marketing and my promotional stuff, it's always focused on LinkedIn. So it's just about during that initial call, that sales call,
Mm-hmm.
you're asking them questions about what they're currently doing to help their business grow. And that's when you have the opportunity during that Q&A to
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, I could help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
You need a follow-up campaign built out in your CRM. Absolutely. Part of the services that I offer, I can bring that into you. And the nice thing about what I do, because of my background, I don't necessarily charge extra for that work, because what I'm doing is helping with the process of their lead generation efforts on LinkedIn. All I'm doing is optimizing and making things better.
So again, we're talking about niching down. So you're mentioning that you focus more on LinkedIn. Why not Instagram, TikTok, or let's say even Pinterest, right? So why LinkedIn?
Because that's not where my clients are.
Okay.
I am a B2B service provider. All right. My clients are not on LinkedIn. My clients are not on Instagram. They're not on Facebook, and they're not on TikTok. They are on LinkedIn. That's where businesses who are trying to build their businesses go. All right. So if you are a business that provides services or products to another business, you need to be on LinkedIn. All right. TikTok isn't going to do it. Facebook isn't going to do it unless, of course, you guys are willing to pay for paid advertising, which is really expensive and doesn't always work. So why not spend your money bringing awareness? All right. And not paying. You don't have to pay for ads. You can organically do it all by creating quality content.
So, and I'm asking that because, unfortunately, everyone talks about being on these other platforms that I mentioned. Now, Pinterest is one of those that kind of gets lost in the sauce, right? But,
Yes.
But everyone's making sure, hey, you're on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok right now. So it was just interesting that you're focused or you're honing in on to LinkedIn. And I agree with you that, hey, business to business, interaction, because I think the other part is that why not even Twitter or X? Because people think of that as a business to business piece also.
For some people, yes. For me personally, so I left Facebook 2 years ago. All right.
Okay.
I still have my personal account. The only reason I haven't deactivated or deleted it entirely is because of all the travel that I did. And that's where a lot of my pictures and stuff are. But I don't go on those platforms. And it's purely out of mental health.
Okay.
I don't want to be around that particular noise. And LinkedIn is I'm going to say it's about 90% of a safe space. There are people that do post content on there that really shouldn't be there because it's a business platform, but it doesn't bother me as much as it would if I was on something like X or on Facebook trying to market my services. But I just also know, I provide a business service to other business. They're just not, creating a group on Facebook and trying to build that up. That just isn't going to work for what I do.
So how did you determine that is really the space? Because again, society or influences, whatever it might be, sometimes you see or hear how people are growing on Instagram and they're becoming influencers and things like that. And they can kind of make a little bit of money off of that, where you don't hear so much about that success on LinkedIn. So what helped you diffuse the noise, if you will, to kind of say, hey, you know what, LinkedIn really is my spot, and not get confused with, I want to get paid off of Instagram or whatever, those type of things?
So it actually took a failure in my business and hiring a coach to kind of figure out why wasn't I getting leads. And she said, after a conversation, she said, your people are on LinkedIn. So she told me about a tool called Duck Soup. I went to LinkedIn. She did not give me a strategy. And she just said, your people are on LinkedIn, get Duck Soup to help automate an outreach message. And so that's what I started doing. And it worked. But the issue was I'd already failed at the business piece, but I was able to talk to some partners in the digital marketing space who were able to take on those leads that I was getting and then give me a kickback. And so I lived on that kickback for about 3 months until I put the strategy together. And at the same time that the strategy came about, I also decided to leave the country and start traveling. And that was such a pivotal time because that was the growth of my LinkedIn business.
Really? Okay.
Was being able to travel and bring on new clients. And that's what changed everything. That's why the focus has always been on, or has been on, LinkedIn since 2017.
So I'm gonna tell you, you're bringing up a lot of different questions in my head. Like, I don't know which way I want to go first. So let's go backwards, right? So you talked about CRM. So some people may not understand what that really is, so can we talk about that a little bit? How has that helped you to grow your company?
So a CRM is a customer management or customer relationship management tool. And this is basically if you go to someone's website and you see a form that says sign up for my newsletter, hopefully they have something much better than that to give away, and you put in your name and email address. Well, it goes into what's called a CRM, and that is for email marketing. It's also set up for automations. It can manage your business. It can manage your onboarding. Like, if you are a business and you're not building a list, that's your first fail because the money is in the list. All right. I don't have a very big list and my list will change over time, but I have found ways to build an audience using other tools. For instance, Substack and LinkedIn newsletters. Allow me, so it's not so much that I'm building a list, but it's allowing me to create content that I can actually send out and it's going to land in their inbox. All right. Which is what email marketing does. All right. And there's 5 different types. So there's 5 different types of email campaigns that every business should be running. You may not be running them in the beginning of your business, but when your business is in full swing, these are the campaigns that you should have. You should have a welcome campaign, which is about 3 emails that go out introducing yourself to the person who's just subscribed to whatever your free offering is. And this is your opportunity to share more about yourself, why you went into business, and then share your best stuff, like maybe your best blog post or your best resources. All right. Then, so after the welcome series, you've got your follow-up. So all of your sales calls, all right, there needs to be some form of a follow-up. You need to be checking in with them to find out, did they get the resource you sent them after your call? Did they have any questions? And you need to send several emails out to get people to come back to hire you for services. You've got your engagement emails, all right? So I've signed up for your newsletter. Now you're going to send me engagement emails talking about your different products and services, all right? Then you've got your ascension emails. Your ascension emails is what actually takes people deeper into the course or resource you've sold them into. Then at the end of that, we'll sell you into another course. And then the last one is your re-engagement, and your re-engagement series, because the last thing you want are people on your list who do not engage with any of your stuff. That's really bad for your list. All right. You want people who are at least going to engage and open and read it. So what a re-engagement does is it offers them something new to get them to re-engage with your content.
So as I'm listening to you, you're saying you have 5 pieces to this.
Did I say 4 or did I give 5 already?
You gave 5.
I give all 5?
Yes.
Okay.
You did. So here's the thing. It sounds like a lot of work, right? I'm just starting off, and one, I don't have a major list. As you just stated, hey, my list is not, large, but I don't have a large list, and I don't want to become spammy or come off as spammy, and I don't feel as though I have enough content to carry each one of those things? Maybe the welcome and the follow-up, but maybe I don't have the other pieces, right? So how would I come up with the content needed to keep people engaged, and even to the point where I get to the last one where it's like, hey, please open me up. Like I have stuff to offer, right? So how do you create content for people to stay engaged with your emails or your newsletters?
So for me, because I know content, like when people think about, oh my gosh, a content strategy, how overwhelming, how much like I've got to come up with content. One of the best ways to do it, honestly, get onto ChatGPT and start brainstorming with an AI. All right. Ask for ideas, ask for inspiration. So if you are someone who's going to create a course, all right, you're going to need your engagement emails to sell people into that course. The content for that will actually come about while you're creating that course. All right. So it does come to you, but but using tools like AI, there's also Answer the Public, which is another tool, answerthepublic.com. Kind of helps you dive in on what people are talking about right now, like what's a popular topic that relates to your industry. So it's just about doing the research, plain and simple. What I usually will tell people, get about 40 pieces of really, really good content. You're offering lots of value. They're not super promotional, but the value is there. You're giving people actionable tasks. You create 40 pieces of content like that. You could use a tool like Jasper AI to rewrite that content 100 times for you. And now you've got 100 different posts. All right. So get 40 pieces. All right. Because there's only 30 days in a month.
Right.
All right. And you're not going to post content every day.
Right.
Right. So unless you're selling like a product or something, if you're selling a product, you're constantly promoting, but for your services, it's going to be a little bit different. So, but that's what I would recommend.
Nice. I appreciate that. So, and I understand that you are focusing on female founders, but this is helping me out too, right? Yeah, I just want you to know.
It should help everybody.
Yeah, right. It is.
It should help everybody. And, even though I primarily work with female founders, I'm happy to work with men. I've worked with many men in my 18 plus years in marketing. So they're more than welcome.
Thank you. So let me ask you this. You had talked about failure also. So what is one of the biggest things that you learned in your process, prior to the failure, during the failure, and even after?
First of all, you're scared. You're embarrassed. You're having all of the feelings. You're humiliated. You're going to beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up, because it does happen. If you can, give yourself a little bit of time, because what has happened is really big. It's very emotional. Find somebody that understands what being an entrepreneur is like, so that you have someone to talk to. I think for me, also make sure that you're around people who are positive. If you've got complainers on your team, that's part of the reason why my business failed. Most of it was all me, but I had someone on my team who was also detrimental to bringing negativity into the organization. And negativity breeds negativity.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So make sure you're surrounded by people who are supporting you, not bringing you down. And then bootstrap, give it a week. Feel sorry for yourself for a week. Wallow in your sorrow, whatever you need to do. But the very next week, get back up, start over. If my failure had to do with financing and trying to grow too big too fast. All right. Once I figured out how to fix the financing piece, I haven't had a failure issue. Like, I'm not even scared.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, and that's the big thing. If you are on the feast or famine roller coaster, get your finances straight. There's a book called Profit First. I always keep it Profit first. Get this book. It will save your life and your business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it changed everything for me, but the failure was very, very scary. And I learned a lot of things, with regard to bringing people on, building out a team. I tried to do too much too fast.
Okay.
It was that feeling of invincibility. And I was just so excited to be an agency that nothing else mattered. And then, within 24 hours, my project manager left. I had to let go of the rest of my team, which is about 4 other people. And then I had to let go of all my clients.
Wow. Wow.
And that's embarrassing to have that conversation with your clients. Like, I can't manage the finances of my company.
Wow.
So I can't help you.
Wow.
And I had to give partial refunds when I didn't have money to give. So that, it's a very scary place to be. But the thing is I got through it. That failure led to LinkedIn. Like, I'm so glad I had that failure because I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for that failure. So I'm also a lot more discerning about building out a team. Like, the people I talk to, like how things need to flow. Like, if I talk to somebody and all they do is start complaining, then I know right away that no, this would not be a good team member.
So one of the things that as you're talking about this, you hear sometimes you get some founders who are very how do I want to word this? They're very controlling, so they don't want to outsource or they don't want to bring on a team, versus yourself. Like, I'm listening to you where you're like, hey, you know what? I want to grow, so now I'm outsourcing or I'm bringing on people or whatever else. So what helped you to get to that point of, hey, you know what? I want to bring people onto the team, where others are like, hey, I want to control everything for as long as I can.
Being in control of everything is actually hindering your progress. All right. And I'm the same way. I'm trying to find a me. I know how to do a lot of highly technical things that most business owners don't even want to deal with when it comes to their business. Like, I have no problem going into my website DNS and making updates. All right.
Yes.
Which, by the way, people, you're all going to have to do because Google and Yahoo are cracking down on spam. So you have to authenticate your email. So I would be the control is hindering. I wish is where I don't follow my own advice because I don't have a team. I can't find a me that I can trust. I actually did have a gentleman that worked with me for many years. Even after my team was let go, he stuck around to help out with the LinkedIn. He's the only person that I have ever met that I would, without a doubt, if he came back to me and said, hey, what do you got? Let me help you. That I would be like, all right, let's go. Because I understand, that need for wanting control, but you're hindering your progress. I think the first step would be hire a virtual assistant, and don't hire one from the Philippines because it will only frustrate you. And the reason I say that is because when you tell them what you need, you literally need to be as explicit as possible. All right. And that can be really, really frustrating. Whereas if you hire a VA from the States who has a highly technical background and you say, can you go and do this for my newsletter? I'm going to know exactly what I need to do to go and do what you may need for your newsletter, kind of a thing. If I need to tweak it, the design or whatever. And I'm not trying to diss on anybody from the Philippines. I'm just from my own experience. I've worked with several. Having to explain every minute detail in every email is way too inefficient. I don't want to do that. I want somebody that already knows what I need done.
Wow. So how have you grown from that? Because again, we all have these challenges, these bumps in the road. So how have you grown? And I hear you saying, hey, if that person comes back, right? But what experiences will you give to that new entrepreneur to say, you know what, this is where I've grown. this is where I see maybe you're going down the same path. Let's not go down it together. Whatever it might be. So how would you express to someone that, in that space that you've grown from this and let's keep it moving?
I think it's just going to come down to brainstorming. What do they need to do next? What is it that's holding them back? All right. It would be to find out, are they open to a little bit of coaching? All right. I've worked with a lot of coaches over the years. So just through osmosis, I know the language and I know how to talk to people and I can coach them, especially through marketing. So it'd be a matter of sitting down with someone and saying, okay, what's your bottleneck? What's, where is the holdup? All right. And most of the time, the holdup is always the founder. It's the founder that is the bottleneck because they're not able to make a decision, or they're being hemming and hawing about making a decision, or they don't want to listen. Like, one of the things that I deal with is I have a methodology for the way that I write content for my LinkedIn outreach and the way that I write it for my clients. And my clients want to go in and say, hi, this is who I am and this is what I do. And do you want to work with me? And that's not the way to approach people. But I have to let them have their way so that I can show them that it doesn't work, so that they'll come back and say, okay, you can do it your way now.
Wow.
So it's, as founders, we get in our way all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So it's about sitting back and being quiet and just kind of going, okay, what am I in the way of my own business? What am I not doing? Or what am I saying that I want, but then I'm not putting the actions into place?
So Shannon, unfortunately, we're short of time, but let me ask you this, right? How can someone reach out to you and be coached by you so they can get over their humps and they can continue to grow in their business?
So the best way to reach out to me would be to visit my website at linkherin.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Shannon T. Kuykendall. And reach out. Ask me any question you want. I post content on a regular basis. I try to provide a lot of value. I talk about all kinds of things that relate to marketing and our businesses. So reach out. Ask me a question. Ask me anything. And I'm happy to answer. Like, I'm not someone that's going to be like, oh, they asked me a question. Do you want to work with me? Like, no. Ask your question. If I can help you, I'll give you a message and say, hey, this is what you need to do. And then go on with our day. I actually just did that for a gentleman who went all over LinkedIn and gave me a bunch of shout outs because I showed him how to turn on creator mode.
Nice.
He didn't pay for that. Like, no, I am here to help you. And the services that I offer are done for you, or I can coach you through the process. Either or, it's entirely up to you.
Wow. Shannon, I thank you very much for coming on today. I appreciate all the information you have shared with us today.
Thank you so much, Maurice, for having me.
You're welcome.
I'm really happy that I got to do this.
That's good. Well, Shannon, before I let you go, my would you rather question that I ask everybody, right? So would you rather choose 3 doors or a fork in the road?
Fork in the road.
And why a fork in the road?
Because there's only 2 choices instead of 3. I am a Libra and I am indecisive. Too many choices.
That is hilarious. I like your perspective on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks. And thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you very much for a wonderful conversation.
Sure, no problem. And thank you for listening to That Will Never Work podcast.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?
Love it.